Three, two, one.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Hello scholars, welcome back to another episode of Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher, a professional artist and master educator attempting to bring you the best in art historical content. If you like the video, interact with it. Simple as that. Thank you.
Teacher?
May is Asian American Heritage Month. I started off this one with a little bit of a performance. When I think about performance art, and I keep in mind that it's Asian American Heritage Month, there's artists that come into my mind. Tehching Hsieh is a performance artist who deals with cycles of year-long artworks, and his art is life, and his life in turn becomes art. His artwork is so outside the typical idea of what art is or should be. It's like, it makes sense, but it's really hard to grasp it at first. And he was an artist that worked 70s, 80s primarily, in the 1970s, 1980s, and he's so far outside the mainstream. He is such an outsider in terms of art that it's not until recently that he became really respected as an artist. He is a individual from Taiwan, immigrated to the United States, became a world-renowned artist for, again, his year-long projects. So let's dive a little bit deeper and learn a little bit more about this fantastic artist. One of the true pioneers of performance art is Tehching Hsieh, who goes by the Americanized name Sam. Through his art, he makes connections between life and art. He is best known for his year-long performances. Why a year? He would say, because 1 year is the longest single unit of how we count time. It takes the Earth a year to move around the sun. 3 years, 4 years is something else. It is about being human, how we explain time, how we measure our existence. He would immigrate to the United States from Taiwan. He was in what was the equivalent to the Merchant Marines and found his way to the United States. Basically, immigration wouldn't let him into the United States, so he just walked off the boat and stayed here. His first artwork was really developed in 1978 when he built an 11.5 by 9 by 8 foot bar jail cell in his loft apartment. For that year, he had no contact with the outside world. No television, no sound, no talking, no reading, no writing, nothing. He had people that he knew deliver food, and his human waste was removed in a bucket each day. In his mind, this work was not about suffering, it's about existence.
And for all the young women who are in their 20s who are like, ew, I would never do that, ew, gross, ew. Grow up.
Truth be told, he was so much of an outsider artist that most people didn't even know that he was an artist. They had no idea what he was, but certainly not an artist. But the artist's statements and the additional artifacts that go along with it, like the photographs, and videos and production materials would later be used to emphasize the artistic point that he was making, even if he was the only one at the time that knew what he was doing. There were years where he would just stay outside, forcing himself into homelessness, and that was his art. In another work, he spent a year punching a time clock every hour on the hour, 24 hours a day, for 1 year. Was the artwork perfect? No, there were times that he missed, and that embedded failure is seen in the final product, although the final product is very impressive. There was even a year where he decided to make no art at all. He wouldn't talk about art, he wouldn't think about art, he wouldn't make art, he wouldn't look at art, he wouldn't read about art, he wouldn't even go to a museum. Nothing. Another of his more known performances was a collaboration with a fellow performance artist.
Who are you? Who am I?
Linda Montano. Now she's a New York native who was trained at the College of New Rochelle and also had extensive training in Italy, the University of Wisconsin, and the Welding School in New York. At any rate, she would emerge as another one of the pioneers of performance art. One of her trademark performances was wearing one color per year. The color corresponded with the color of the Hindu energy system. She called this 7 years of living art, and then repeated the performance with another work called Another 7 Years of Living Art. She would define performance art as a tool which assists artists to aesthetically feel or face life. Now with their combined performance together, Hsieh and Montano, again were both well known for their performances, were tied together with an 8-foot rope. They were not allowed to touch each other for the entire year, and they never formally met each other before the performance began. At the end of the year, they cut the rope, they shook hands, hugged, and punched each other.
Your procedures of approval ensure that only the least radical ideas are rewarded. Meanwhile, your competition is innovating!
Hsieh's last major project was a 13-year project of making art. He began the project on his 36th birthday and ended it on his 49th birthday, completed between 1986 and 1999. After the project was done, he released the results to the public. His definitive comment about the project was, "I kept myself alive." And after this project, his art career was officially over. Side note, in the 2012 documentary, The Artist is Present, featured the work of Marina Abramovich, who is also a performance artist. And if you watch the very beginning, you see a very quick clip of a well-documented moment when Tehching Hsieh comes out of retirement just for a fleeting moment to also be a part of this performance at the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
The semester, I get inside your cabezas.
In 1994, Hsieh became an American citizen, and he lives in Brooklyn, New York. Tell you what, I love that story. Thanks for watching and the interactions on the video. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good day.
I hate you, your house smells like cat pee. Why don't you clean the water in your fish tank?